The glass didn't shatter like it does in the movies. It screamed first, an aching, cracking sound that made every heartbeat stop. Then it splintered into 1,000 glittering veins before bursting apart. A second later, I was lying on the patio floor, wind knocked out of me, blood warm and sticky across my cheekbone. The night was quiet, too quiet. My ears rang with silence. Everyone froze. Their faces were pale and still. Mouths half open, forks hanging in the air. Not a single person moved. Not my wife. Not her mother. And not him. "You're nothing," her brother hissed before he shoved me through the glass. I smiled. The taste of blood filled my mouth as it dripped down my chin. My voice came out calm, steady, cold enough to cut through the silence. "You all just lost everything." They didn't understand. Not yet, but they would. By morning, their perfect little world would be gone, reduced to ashes, rumors, and headlines. And finally, the truth would scream louder than their lies. It began with silence, the kind that seeps into a house when something real has died. Anna stopped humming. She always hummed when she cooked, soft little tunes that floated through the kitchen without her even noticing. But one day the music just stopped. Then came the phone. It began tilting away from me whenever I entered the room. Screen down. Always locked. Her scent changed too. She started wearing that expensive perfume I never bought her. And her brother Caleb, the looks they shared across the table. Too long, too knowing. The quick smiles. The teasing that wasn't really teasing at all. At first, I told myself I was imagining things. That maybe I was tired. Maybe they were just close. Family sometimes looks like that. Tension, laughter, arguments. But when I leaned in to kiss her neck one night, and she flinched like my touch burned her, I stopped pretending. I lay awake beside her that night, staring at the ceiling, my mind racing. My skull buzzed against the pillow. Every breath she took felt like a secret. 3 weeks. That's all I needed. I started small with a toothbrush. Anna never noticed it was gone. I sent it in for a DNA test. I told myself it was only to be sure, to confirm what I feared but didn't want to believe. Our daughter, Emma, deserved the truth. I prayed, please let me be wrong. But deep down I already knew. At dinners, I started watching them closely. Caleb's hand brushed hers when he poured the wine. Her laughter came too fast, too bright. They shared glances that spoke whole sentences, inside jokes that didn't belong to me. So I made my next move. I hired someone, a friend, quiet, discreet, professional. He placed a tracker in Caleb's car and another on Anna's phone. Tuesday, she said she was meeting her sister. She drove to Caleb's apartment instead. She didn't come home until after midnight. She didn't know I watched her walk in, and I watched her walk out. That night, she kissed Emma goodnight and whispered, "I love you," while another man's sweat was still drying behind her ear. I smiled. I told her I loved her too. Then I pulled the blanket over her shoulder, gentle as ever, and watched her sleep. The envelope arrived that Friday. Thick, official, heavy with truth. I didn't open it right away. I brewed coffee, added too much sugar, took one sip and threw it out. Then I opened the envelope slowly, page by page, line by line. And there it was. Emma, 0% biological relation. Me, legal father, emotional ghost. My hands trembled. My heart didn't. I printed the file, highlighted the part that mattered in bright yellow, folded it neatly, placed it inside an old watch box, and tied it with a red ribbon. That evening, I slipped it into Anna's handbag. I didn't say a word. The next morning, I watched her at breakfast, scrolling through her phone, pretending everything was fine. 2 days later, she found it. She came into the bedroom shaking, eyes wide, voice trembling. "What is this?" she asked. I looked up from the newspaper, blinked once, and said, "The truth." Then I went back to reading. The dinner was her idea. "Let's move forward," she said softly, "as a family." Caleb was already drunk when we sat down. His cheeks were flushed, his smile mean. I poured his wine, filling the glass until it spilled a little onto the white tablecloth. He leaned in close, the alcohol thick on his breath. "You're pathetic," he muttered. "She never loved you." Then his hand hit my chest. Hard. The glass door behind me groaned, cracked, and shattered into the night. And I was outside again, blood dripping, cold air biting, silence screaming. "You're nothing," he said. I smiled through the taste of iron. "You all just lost everything." And I meant it, because by then everything was already set in motion. The evidence was live. A press release had gone out at 6:01 p.m. sharp, filled with screenshots, transactions, and legal records. Their entire empire, Caleb's startup and his brand partnerships, all of it built on stolen money and fake trust. Shell companies, fraud, lies wrapped in luxury. Guess whose names were on the accounts? Guess who printed every receipt? Guess who sent every file to every investor, every client, every journalist in their glittering circle? Me. By morning, their phones were exploding. Lawyers, reporters, silence. Anna sat on the edge of the bed, eyes blank, staring into nothing. Caleb was gone, probably hiding or running. Emma slept peacefully in her room, untouched by the chaos. She'd never know the full story. She'd only know that her father loved her enough to walk away. I packed one bag, just the essentials. As I passed Anna, she didn't look up. Her hands shook around a half-empty glass. When I opened the door, her voice broke behind me. "How could you do this?" I paused. One breath. No anger. No hate. Just truth. "You never should have made me dig." Then I walked out and I didn't look back. The night swallowed the house behind me. Their empire, their lies, their perfect illusion, all turning to dust before the sun could rise. And in that darkness, for the first time in years, I felt something real again. Peace.